So with the D League, I told my agent kept telling me, man, every week, this team likes you, this team likes you. I was like, man, after 2 weeks, I was like, don't call me no more until somebody calls me up. Wow. And it actually happened like 2 weeks later. So wow. I was kind of spoken into existence. That's kind of how it worked out. And actually 2 teams called me up, Golden State and Charlotte Bobcats. But Golden State pulled the trigger first. So
wow. Now, could you imagine if you would have just said, you know what, F basketball when you didn't get drafted?
I thought about it. I ain't gonna lie.
I believe it because that's how most people live life. Yeah. If something like they've worked so hard at something, and we always have this expectation of how we think life should look, and then it doesn't happen, and then you just quit. Yeah, you would have missed out on an opportunity that not only changed your life but your family's life. Peace, family. What's going on? It is Will Roundtree here on the Full-Time CEO podcast, where we interview entrepreneurs, businessmen, businesswomen, moguls, and everything in between. And today we actually got an NBA superstar with us. And I'm sitting here with my co-host,
Curtis Blair, Mr. C. Blair in the building, man. Welcome everybody to another podcast episode. We are here with my guy, the Las Vegas legend. People don't like to be called legend sometimes, but this is Mr. CJ Watson, man. How you doing, CJ?
Doing good, man. Appreciate y'all having me. Thank you.
No doubt, no doubt.
Absolutely. But before we get started, I just got to share this one thing. How in the hell did I let Curtis talk me into drinking some sparkling water?
Hey, man, you got to put your pinky up in the air sometimes and enjoy the finer things in life. See, you didn't get no limes in it, so it might not taste the same. But you got to have a refined palate these days, brother. You got to,
It's nothing refined about sparkling water.
Why not?
It's bland.
How is it bland? Water's bland. You want to drink water every day everywhere you go. Spice your water up a little bit, man. Put some little bubblies in it.
I'm gonna try it about 2 more times.
Hey, man, ain't nothing wrong with a little light skin culture in your life, brother.
Look, man, I'm going back to the dark skin. I mean, y'all light skinned people, y'all up a little bit right now.
Your son light skin?
He is light skinned.
Come on, man. Just join the party. Just join the party, man.
You know what?
We embrace every culture, man.
I'm giving them dark skin tendencies, though.
Hey, light skin, but I'm still a dark. Let me some cut though. CJ, so how's everything
going? That's crazy. That's funny.
So tell CJ, man, thank you for coming, man. It's been a long journey for your career, for the NBA and everything else like that. And you just over the last few years ventured into retirement. Just tell us a little bit about your story. How's it coming up in Las Vegas, being a basketball player, and around your time, it wasn't really highlighted as a big basketball market. You know, I'm from Chicago. We think we the shit when it comes to basketball. Sure. So, you know, when you're talking about Las Vegas, tell us a little about that Las Vegas basketball culture.
I think the culture here in Vegas was definitely big in sports. I think sports is here all the time, but I think for Las Vegas people, I think for us, I think we were kind of underrated, I feel like. But people knew that, you know, we could play. We had a chip on our shoulder. So that's kind of how I think all Las Vegas, you know, players play. All the hoopers here play with a chip on their shoulder. So they definitely come out, you know, and want to prove themselves to, especially, you know, Chicago, when we go to LA all the time, New York. We just want to put our city on the map.
Definitely. So during that transition, let's highlight a few guys that was here that came up with you at a Las Vegas basketball. Was Pierre Jackson around your time, or
he's younger than me? But yeah,
a little bit younger than you.
Pierre's a legend too.
Yes, he is. Shout out to P. Jack.
Yeah.
Who else was coming up around your area?
Marcus Banks.
Marcus Banks. Yeah.
Who else? I'd be drawing a blank. I feel like the ones that, you know, that made it: Marcus Banks, Demetrius Hunter. Troy Brown, he's younger than me too, but still NBA player. Zach Collins, Steve Zimmerman.
Yeah.
So a lot
Vegas
of
pumped out.
A lot of Gorman dudes. So.
Yeah, Vegas. I mean, Gorman. Man, we ain't gonna talk about what Gorman does.
Gorman a different dude. We are who we are.
They're a business powerhouse over at Gorman, G.
So, CJ, question: did you know at a young age basketball was something you wanted to do, or you kind of fell into it?
I mean, I think just playing with my dad and my brother in the front yard, I just wanted to play basketball. I never honestly knew how much an NBA player made. Right. I never thought about playing the NBA. I just wanted to play basketball and stay out of trouble. So that's kind of why I really play basketball.
Right. So what do you say for people out there? Because, you know, there's some guy sitting on the couch, and when he see you guys playing in the games and you miss a shot, and they be like, man, I could have made that. Like, can you let people know, like, professional like basketball is a different level?
No, it's a totally different level. I kind of understand it more now since I'm retired.
Right.
I've never been to an NBA game before I played in one. And now that I I kind of went to like 3 or 4 this past year. And I sit in the stands. This is the first time I'm sitting in the stands. And I'm hearing the crowd and the fans. So it's real different when you on the court. You can hear it, but when you're done playing, like you're sitting in the stands and you hear everything. And I be hearing people cuss players out. I'm like, dog, come on now. The man just turned it off. It was an accident. It happens, you know what I'm saying? Right. But, I think you expect it as a fan because they expect so much out of you. You make so much money. They don't think you put in a lot of time, but there's so much time that has been put into obviously, get on the court and just get into the NBA is hard in itself. Definitely. So and you stay there for 4 or 5 years, 10, 12, 20 years. LeBron, 21 years. Come on now. I mean, it's unheard of.
Man.
So what's the average life expectancy for an NBA player?
I think it's 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
So it's real short.
So y'all think y'all really gonna stick in the NBA? A lot of y'all young boys, or I'm a pro, or I'm a McDonald's All-American, and they just be like, do they stick in the NBA? A lot of times they don't.
Yeah.
That's about the same time that an average business is open.
That's true.
A person think, I'm going to just start a business. And I'm like, most businesses fail within year 1 to 3.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, man, so let's talk a little bit about that. And I know that's not your experience, but I'm pretty sure you knew guys who experienced that. Like, how do you go back and transition into being a civilian?
Yeah.
After you've been cut after maybe a year or two, because you get that first big check. Right. Obviously, a lot of players who make it to the league, they've never seen that amount of money before.
For sure, yeah.
And so, how does one even mentally go back into like, damn, I'm going from making whether it was 40, 50, 100,000 a game to now you just trying to figure your way out through life.
Yeah, I think it's tough, man. I think as players, I always tell my daughter this now because she's a student athlete, like. As a student athlete, there's no other job that they can go to your job, criticize you, talk about you, and then also look how much you make. Yeah, it's like no other job you can do that. I can't go to a doctor or lawyer and tell him he did a shitty surgery, and then just keep telling him about it, over and over and over. Then go tweet about it. So it's hard and different. But I think as an NBA player or as an athlete, you think you're gonna make that money all your life, and you got to really prepare because every day, every year could be your last. You never know. Injuries. The way you react, and if you show up to the bus late, all these things can pile on and say, "Hey, we don't want this guy on our team no more. Wow. He's not professional." Like there's so many things that people don't think about it when you're getting to the profession that can really hurt you.
Definitely.
Wow.
So next step, were you highly recruited coming out of high school?
I mean, a little bit, yeah. I was like, I think it's like number 80, 85, something.
Okay.
But not like top 10 or nothing like
that. Right. So you ended up at Tennessee. Tell us about a little bit about your college experience of being the SEC at that point in time.
Yeah.
And I mean, Tennessee is a great school, great academics. So tell a little bit about your story at Tennessee.
So I was actually going to commit to UCLA, but Steve Lavin got fired. That was my dream school, UCLA. But so I opened up my recruiting. It was like Oregon, Tennessee, and like Fresno State. I went to visit, but I recruited there. My family's from there, so that's why I went there. And they told me the day I stepped on campus, it was my team, so I wasn't gonna go nowhere else.
Yeah, that's a good start.
I was honestly, I was pretty pissed because UNLV didn't recruit me. I wanted to stay home. I love my favorite color is red. I wanted to be in the red. I loved Tark growing up.
Right.
That's another reason why I went to the visit on Fresno State because Tark was still there. So
but
Tennessee was cool, man. I got to play against some of the best point guards in the SEC. Those guys were NBA ready. Every night in the SEC, you go up against top talent. So it was kind of like a no-brainer for me.
What was your biggest probably memory or highlight of your college career?
Being a 2 seed in the tournament my senior year. That was the first time I went to the tournament, and we also got upset. So it was kind of bittersweet.
Do you think
good and bad?
Do you think that defeat prepared you even more? Because I often talk, even from the business side, when somebody experiences success right away in business, it's actually it can actually tarnish them when they do experience an obstacle because now they don't know how to deal with defeat. Yeah. Do you think that defeat prepared you to be able to get ready for the NBA?
I think so, because I think it was a whole number of things. Like I said, just going through the high school process, being I thought I was better than I was. Not being highly recruited kind of gave me an extra chip on my shoulder, and also failure too. Like you say, I think failure creates more successful people because, like you said, if you always know success, and when you fail, then what's going to happen then? You're going to quit.
You got to say that again.
So yeah, but I think it's definitely helps. That's the same kind of gems I try to give my daughter, to this day. So I think it's all just a learning curve and just trying to help the next generation.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I did a TEDx talk in 2018, and it was called "The Power of Failure," and I think that just people have this notion of what they think failure is.
Right.
And I often ask people, what is failure? And they usually can't tell me.
Right.
And I say, failure is an omission of action. And essentially, you only fail when you just stop.
Right.
But whenever you're going through, I call it that learning experience, it gives you the data you need. So you know, okay, man, I got to tweak this. I got to tweak that. So from your career, even going back as far as college, what did you learn from that quote unquote experience that you needed to work on within your game to get prepared? As you mentioned, you thought you were better than what you really were.
A lot of things, man. So I'm a shy, reserved person. I don't really talk a lot.
Quiet Storm is nickname.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. If you get to know me, I mean, I'll talk to you more and more. But I think over time, just learning that when my junior year, I was going to come out early and leave, but I went back to school because my coach got fired, and the new coach wanted me to stay. He said it would be a better opportunity for me. He had a run and gun system, so it was better for me. That's the type of system I like to play in, and I grew up in. And so I went back, and then I think just over time, just learning what the GMs and the president said I needed to work on, which was shooting, being a better leader, which means talking more, which means doing all the things I didn't want to do. So I had to. For me, that's kind of a failure. I heard criticism that I didn't want to hear, but I use it as motivation and to just help me to be better and do better. So I think that's what helped me kind of get to the next level and be successful.
So you had to become uncomfortable.
Yeah, you got to be uncomfortable. Better. I mean, it's a crazy saying. You got to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. So I kind of, like I said, I think it helped out in the end.
Right. What was your mindset like in going through that uncomfortability? Because whenever, Curtis and I working with people, and we say mindset, people think mindset is just about thinking positive.
Right. Yeah.
No, you really have to become somebody who you want, who people need to be attracted to.
Yeah,
so what did you do to even work on those things?
Just like I said, everything that they said I couldn't do, I went back and tried to perfect that better. And the things I was decent at, I wanted to be better at. So just like I said, my coach sent me to a leadership conference in Orlando.
Oh, wow.
So that was big for me. Like when he told me he was signing me up for it, I was like, man, F you. I did not remember this. I was already like in my own box right now. And I had a couple good years of school. I was like, I'm not going to this. Like, there's no point for me. But it ended up being a good lesson for me. Like I said, I learned a lot. I learned how to be more of a leader. I learned how to talk more in groups and stuff like that. So I think just being uncomfortable just made me a better person overall.
Personal development.
Personal development.
Even in sports.
Yes. So was that transition of doing all that, and also you had a great college career, but you went undrafted. How did that fuel your fire on top of all the work that you put in just to get up to that point? And that was another drop off in your career.
Yeah, man, it made me sick, man. That's the first time I cried over basketball, not being drafted.
Yeah,
because actually, how it happened was the team, Detroit Pistons, had the last pick in the second round.
Right.
So they called my agent and said they're going to draft me with the 60th pick. The pick comes, I didn't get drafted. Cried, a couple tears, not bawling, crying.
Tough up,
motherfucker, cool. a couple of thug tears.
Okay,
but sitting at the house with my mom, and the next thing you know, I'm like, what we got to do now? That was over with. I feel like I just had to keep going to the next thing. So then I went overseas for a year. A tough situation again. I had a different coach every month. My coach kept getting fired. Wow. So then, like I said, I just kind of went back to the lab and just kind of figured out what do I do next to get to that NBA level, because I seen guys I played in college with in the NBA being successful.
That you cooked.
That I played good.
You tell him you cooked.
Yeah. And I was like, man, he's in that position. I wasn't jealous of him, but I just want my opportunity, my turn. And I kept saying next time I'm gonna be ready. So that's kind of how it kind of fared out.
Man, that's crazy. Then the next transition was D League, and then you got the call up, right?
Yeah, so with the D League, I told my agent kept telling me, man, every week, this team likes you. I was like, man, after 2 weeks, I was like, don't call me no more until somebody calls me up. Wow. And it actually happened like 2 weeks later. So I was kind of spoken into existence, but that's kind of how it worked out. And actually 2 teams called me up, Golden State and Charlotte Bobcats. But Golden State pulled the trigger first. So
wow. Now, could you imagine if you would have just said, you know what, F basketball when you didn't get drafted?
I thought about it. I ain't gonna lie.
I believe it because that's how most people live life.
Yeah.
If something they've worked so hard at something, and we always have this expectation of how we think life should look, and then it doesn't happen, and then you just quit.
Yeah,
you would have missed out on an opportunity that not only changed your life but your family's life.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, it's big to have a good support system around you, man. My mom and dad raised us in the church and believed in God. And when I was overseas in Greece, that's why I was telling my parents, I was like, man, I was gonna go back home, get a job, man, work at Walmart. I ain't gonna lie, that's the same exact words I said. I ain't gonna lie, work at Walmart and just figure.
It's a start though. Ain't nothing wrong with Walmart. Ain't nothing wrong with Walmart.
But
it's a start sometimes. You got to start from the bottom.
That's what I told them. I said they kept telling me, no, man, you work too hard for this. And man, obviously it hasn't worked out in your favor right now, but you never know what could happen. Keep doing it, and your younger brother sees this too, so I had to be an example for him. So I don't want to quit and then let him see like being a quitter. So what is that? What am I telling him if he tried the same thing and he quit? So they just kept me focused, man, and like I said, it worked out.
Right. I know nowadays you have people who are usually in your ear, and the thing I always tell people, it's like when Curtis and I and the team are working with someone and we're giving them direction on, hey, if you want to get to this next level, do these things. But then they'll go ask somebody who know nothing about money, who's failed at everything, and they sleeping on their couch. Did you have people in your ear that was chirping, that was giving you counterintuitive advice from your parents and your support system?
I don't know if they were giving me like bad advice or I don't think it was ever bad advice.
Who giving you the hood advice? Who's giving you the hood advice?
I mean, I feel like you're gonna get that regardless, because especially you can go back to your hometown, your neighborhood. You're gonna always get that. But I think just being in church, people at church always give me positive positive words. I mean, I think from coaches to dentists that I see on a regular basis to family members, they was always giving me positive vibes. There's never nothing negative. The only thing they always told me, just shoot more. They just hated when I got to college and I was more of a pure point guard. Then my last year, they was happy because I scored more. So that's the only thing.
Wow.
Nah, but that's totally a new mindset change for what you went through, because a lot of times people will come around you, and your circle was your support system.
Right.
And a lot of people, I mean, I'll tell my kids when I coach them as well, shoot more, because to shoot more gets that shine on you and helps you get to that next level. But at the same time, you had people that were just building you up that whole time. And that was key, because a lot of times people will tell you, man, just give it up. Go. Yeah. You try to say you wanted to go to work at Walmart. But a lot of times other people will be like, man, I don't even really think that's you. You might just want to go get a job. And me, myself, I've been through those ups and downs and challenges. Will himself has been through these ups and downs and challenges as an entrepreneur and as a business person. When you go out here into the marketplace, or you want to go out there to be a basketball player, get a job, and they'll be like, and you have a couple failures in the beginning, the people will tell you, why don't you just go do something else? Why don't you just go get you a 9 to 5? Why don't you go just work in this capacity, or go coach? I know a lot of people have even told you, well, you can just go coach in basketball, but you saw a vision for yourself. And, how long was your career? About 10 years, right? I just want to foreshadow and then come back. Yeah. But you had a 10-year career that you've probably seen people that got there right away and fell off.
Oh, yeah, for sure. A lot of my teammates, man, I had a different roster of teammates every year. So that just shows you how much the turnover is in the NBA.
Yes.
And people think it's going to last forever, and it doesn't. But like, back to your point, it's just their support system is your biggest thing, man. When you get those people around you to always lift you up, and even when you're down, try to pick you up. And like I said, my parents, family supported me through good times and bad, and they always kind of just stuck with me.
Yeah, so the NBA grind is definitely, a lot of people think it's glitz and glamour. Tell us a little bit about your 10 years in the NBA.
Before we get there.
Okay.
So you go from the D League to the NBA. What was that feeling like? Because now you made it.
Oh, man, it was crazy, man. Because
did you have a thug tear?
No, I didn't. Only time I cried, 2 times I cried in basketball. When I lost the state championship my junior year, I didn't cry because we lost.
Gorman lost?
I cried. Yeah, we lost. I cried because I was sad for the seniors that couldn't come back the next year and repeat it like I could.
Right. That's a real teammate right there.
Next year I won. So that's the only 2 times I cried, when I didn't get drafted in state championship.
Right.
But the biggest thing for me when I got called up was my favorite player was Baron Davis. Now he's my teammate. So I'm sitting next to him like this on the plane.
Wow.
Talking to him. I got to run errands for him, get his coffee in the morning. I was playing video games with him 2 months earlier. Now I'm sitting next to him. So that was the biggest thing for me.
Wow. Yeah.
From the transition to the NBA, then, playing against my idols like Kobe, stuff like that. So, I mean, that's kind of my highlight of my career.
Did you get intimidated going against some of your favorites?
Honestly, no. I was just, I was shocked, but I was like, hey, I worked hard for this. I deserve to be on the court with them. Now I got to earn the respect, because now I think the biggest respect for me as a player was just getting the respect of my peers. Once somebody says, like, one of the biggest things Mo Williams said to me was, I fuck with your game. That kind of made me smile. Like, I didn't smile in front of him. I was like, damn, that nigga just said he fucking my game. And I looked up to him. He was one of the guys I looked up to in college. I wanted to play like, because he was nice. That was kind of like the biggest highlight of my career, just having my peers respect.
Wow.
Man, so yeah, tell us a couple stories. I mean, you say you played against Kobe, rest in peace, Kobe. But I mean, that's probably one of the my top 3 players of all time.
Top 1.
Top 1?
Yeah.
Can I go 1, 2?
No.
Mike?
There's nobody.
Mike?
It's Kobe or nobody.
Okay. I mean, I respect it. I'm gonna put Bird over Bron, but ain't nobody saying like that.
Okay. That's a different topic.
But I mean, we're gonna go there with it. But I mean, okay, so Kobe, tell us, a few stories that came around in the NBA, because I mean, I love to hear these stories when I interact with my peers in the basketball world, and just hearing about different stories. You played with Baron Davis, man. Baron Davis, I was a big Baron Davis fan. That dude was a goon playing as a point guard. So I mean, he was an LA guy. So let's tell us a couple stories about what's going on in the NBA.
Yeah, I think the funniest story would just be like our coach, Don Nelson. He played in the league too, but he was our coach. Our practices were super short, 45 minutes, like literally. that was unheard of.
That's a dream.
The
whole day, unheard of. So we would play. We do the drill, 3-on-2, 2-on-1. We do that for about 25 minutes.
Wow.
we do spot shooting for another 20 minutes, and then that's practice.
So y'all play the run and gun freestyle offense, because if you're just doing 3-on-2, 2-on-1, that's all you're getting ready for.
He hated when you turn the ball over, and he didn't hate when you play defense, but he hated when you didn't try or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But he would never take you out the game for not playing defense. He would take you out the game for not shooting the ball on offense.
Oh wow!
So that's why Coach Nelson was one of a kind, man. I love playing with him in his offense. I still run his plays like to this day.
Right. So what did Don Nelson do for the rest of the day? 45 minutes of practice.
Smoke cigars and hang with his dog. His dog would literally come on the court, pee on the court and stuff. He let his dog run around the gym. It was crazy. It was funny, but it was a cool atmosphere just to be around. And
right.
For my first team, it was crazy because I had teammates like Barron. I had Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes, Al Harrington. Those are all my vets. Yeah, those are all my vets. I don't know if they put a good impression on me or not, but they made me see a lot of stuff that I should maybe see, and some stuff I shouldn't have seen.
Mm-hmm. So at least if you went out and some went bad, you was good.
Oh yeah, for sure, I was good. That was my security everywhere.
Right, yeah,
to this day.
Steven Jackson, boy, he was one of the ones. And Matt Barnes, the real light skinned dude.
so they was up back then. Light skin was up back then.
So y'all was in Oakland at that time, right?
Yeah, Oakland.
Okay.
Wow. So if somebody wasn't disciplined from like practice and all of that and getting their own shots up, it could really be
your
bad
career
for
be
them.
fast, just like that, because you didn't put the work in before and after practice. And a lot of the coaches I had, Keith Smart, Coach Silas, they made us stay in the gym. So like I said, thanks to all those guys. I probably would have 45 minutes, went back home too and just played video games or something. Just chill for the rest of the day.
That's crazy.
Video games is a life in the NBA, bro. If people don't really understand, like when you're on the road, you either got your Xbox, PlayStation, whatever with you, but you're going shopping for that little short period of time, and then you'll be back in the hotel on the road playing video games.
So what they playing, like NBA, Madden?
Madden, Call of Duty. I mean, I didn't play it honestly that much, but I had it for a period of time. I had like my own little carry-on PlayStation set that I could take with me wherever I wanted to. So,
did you do a little bit of gambling? Was they playing?
I never gambled. I just watched them.
Okay,
there's too many.
That's another thing they be doing.
Was fighting on the plane. I ain't gonna name no names, but a couple of my teammates was about to throw hands over what's the game called? Spades? No.
It's not. It's another one. It's kind of like Spades. I can't remember what it's called.
I forgot what it's called though.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So what is it like playing a video game and your character is on the that gotta be
So I never played the video game with myself. Never.
Wow.
Yeah. All my cousins, my nephews, people would come and be like, "Hey man, you nice on 2K." I was like, I don't know. I don't know. See, I don't know. I just try to do the depiction in real life and be good.
Right. That's dope though, man.
So tell us a little bit about how you went to a few different teams in the NBA too, right?
Yeah, 5 different teams, yeah.
Okay, how was that feeling about having to pick up and leave and doing everything else like that in the NBA when it comes to, because you're playing roots in the city for a certain amount of time, and then you had to get up and transition. How was that?
So it was cool for me. I got to pick every team I went to, so I never got traded. So I got
who was your agent at the time?
Mike Higgins. I had D Powell.
Okay,
but yeah, Mike Higgins is from Vegas too.
So. Okay,
yeah, but I got to pick my team, which is pretty cool. Every situation, obviously. Every situation, I wanted more money. The team didn't want to give me more money, so I thought it was worth more, so I went and got it somewhere else.
Right.
So, just try to be an advocate for myself. And I felt like I was one of the better backup point guards because that was my position. So I should get paid like a backup point guard. So if I'm one of the best, then, treat me like that. So
no, that's
knowing your worth, I feel like. That's
knowing your worth, but also you in the NBA, it's about roles.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think they, coming up, hey, I'm this guy, I score this many points, or I do this. And you have to basically reinvent yourself for every team that you go to.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell a little bit about how, you basically transition in every role that you had to go to with every team.
Yeah, every team was different. Like, so the Warriors, it was more like a run and gun type offense, which I loved. And then when I went to Chicago, it was more like a half-court offense. But we had a hell of a good team. MVP Derrick Rose was killing people.
He played with some dogs.
Yeah.
We was just watching his high school highlights.
Yeah, he didn't believe he was like, Kurt, was he really like
Chicago,
that?
So you already know.
Well, I already knew.
I ain't gonna say I didn't believe it.
No,
I just wanted to see it.
You want to see it.
Because I never seen it.
Yeah.
You know how the phones be listening to everything, right?
Yeah.
So next thing you know, I'll pull up my phone one day. I'm like, here, Will, here we go. D Rose, windmilling, everything else like that. I was like, dude, the Simeon, he was that guy.
Yeah, D Rose is crazy, man.
He put gave Brandon Jennings his one loss at Oak Hill. He just talked about that on his podcast. Yeah. So, it's crazy, but sorry to cut you off, but go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, but then going to Brooklyn was the same situation, more of a upflow offense, but still had to reinvent myself because it was a new team, new situation.
Who was there with your time in Brooklyn?
D. Will, Joe Johnson.
D. Will,
Joe Johnson was a killer. It was a monster.
Joe Johnson.
Joe was one of my favorite teammates to play with.
Joe was so nice, man.
On and off the court, he's one of my favorite teammates.
Yeah, Joe was so nice. He even cooked all the way up till he was in the Big Three.
He's still cooking probably to this day.
Yeah, he is a cook, but he's doing that yoga, man. Keeps him in shape and in good position. So,
go ahead.
Then in Indiana, I played with a young PG, Lance Stevenson. So
I was living in India at that time.
Those is good times, good dudes. D West, another one of my favorite teammates. And Orlando was kind of like a rebuilding year, a younger team. Still had a young Victor Oladipo before he got injured.
You were the vet at that time?
Yeah, I was a vet. Yeah, so it was weird. Yeah, that was the end of my career.
What would you say is some of the like misconceptions people think about? Let's just talk primarily about NBA players. Is there a misconception people have with you guys, whether it's, the lifestyle or, just whatever it may be?
Maybe just the lifestyle. I think people just thinking that they live this luxurious lifestyle. I'm just a normal dude from the inner city of Vegas. So I ain't never had a Mercedes, honestly. I ain't never had a Porsche or Lambo, nothing like that. I ain't never rode in one, but definitely, I think just the lifestyle that people live. Some people do live that lifestyle because they're superstars, but I think for mostly probably a role player like myself or a bench player, just a normal person just trying to make it day to day, just like everybody else.
Right.
And even with that, you had to probably create a budget because probably with your career, when you bouncing around, you had to think, man, it might be my last team. It might be my last stop. So you had to save and budget, where a lot of guys just go out there and say they're trying to compete with the superstars and everything else like that. So, like Antoine Walker used to try to compete with Jordan. And, that got him into the bankruptcy.
Right, yeah.
But, tell us a little bit about how you're seeing those guys. Would you just make them go pay for the dinner? You just fade back, or how would it go?
So when I was a rookie, like Jack and all of them, Baron, they would all pay for my meal because I was pretty much broke.
Right.
But as I got older, I started making money. Then when I would go out with like another superstar, I would pay my own way because I didn't want them thinking I'm kind of just leeching off them. So, but I definitely I think you definitely got to have a budget. Over time, people don't understand as an athlete, you get taxed in every state you play in, and sometimes you get taxed 2 or 3 times, like Cali or Texas, like that. So I definitely think over time, then you got to pay for tickets and all that kind of stuff. You get taxed on tickets that you give out, so people don't understand that. So it's a whole bunch of things that people don't understand as an athlete. You get you got to pay for that. It's just not out of your salary.
Right.
How many new cousins did you get when you started making
None.
money?
I had my family is huge, man. My great grandma.
I'm talking about people who really wasn't your cousins.
Really.
That tight knit circle, right?
Yeah.
My
great grandma had 17 kids, so I got a huge family. So I knew them all already. So every summer, me and my parents would send me and my brother to Tennessee, and we always hang out with them. So I honestly never knew anybody. No one really asked me for money like that, honestly, except for my parents. My dad tried to debo me one time. I told him no. But I think just kind of budgeting your money, saving your money, because just preparing for the what ifs. If, like you said, injuries can happen. You might not make a roster, so you never know what can happen.
So you went into the league being conscious about those things.
Yeah, my mom kind of set it up. She didn't know I was going to play in the NBA or whatever, but every summer when I played in the NBA, I went to internships. I did Facebook, I did Google, I did EA Sports, I did real estate internships. So when I was younger, my mom worked for the city, so she would go on these internships and she would take me with her. So I already knew kind of like how to kind of prepare myself, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do after basketball. But doing that, I had to figure out what I liked, and so at least what I like, I can go in that lane and try something. If I don't like it, I can go to the next thing. So
wow.
I was kind of prepared, but not really prepared.
So did you give other players advice when you like, man, I see this person just blowing their money? Did you try to give some of the other players advice?
Not really, because when you making that money, you ain't listening. If I'm the franchise player, I'm not listening to a dude that's replacing me.
Yeah. You the sub, homie.
Who are you? But yeah, you see it all the time, though. But you try to, you kind of just be mindful of it. Kind of say, if I was in that position, I wouldn't do the mistakes he's made, because you kind of learn from your players' mistakes. And I always tell my daughter to learn from other people's mistakes. You want to learn from your own, but learn from others too, and learn from mine, from other people's you see. So I try to just give her a story so she can be, successful too.
Man, it's what's so crazy. I remember, because I have a friend who's an NBA agent, and he told me at one point he knew players who were taking advances against their checks because they were so broke, even though they were like decent names in the NBA. That's true.
It sounds right. Yeah, I know a couple players who took lines of credit. I mean, lines of credit is normal, but at that time they were probably just taking it because they didn't have the money or didn't budget or whatever. So
crazy.
But yeah, it's tough, man, because I think growing up, and I'm from the inner city, I didn't know nothing about money. My mom wasn't a millionaire, so how can she tell me how to budget $1 million when she's never had it? So I think just the whole financial literacy thing is big in any sport you do, because we're getting all this money and nobody knows how to manage it. Definitely. But I think that's what they got to have more classes, more teaching about, more fundamental, because in that case, a lot of players won't go broke. The numbers won't be so high. So you can teach that financial literacy to these young athletes.
Right. And I know Curtis has financial literacy background, and that's how we actually ended up crossing paths, because even when he was educating people on the insurance side of financial services. And so just from your point of view, Curtis, what was it that caught your attention on wanting to kind of transition and be more stern by teaching athletes financial literacy? Because I know now you actually help raise a lot of young athletes.
Man, it's tough. Like what CJ said, people they all want to do what they want to do.
Right.
They're trying to keep up with the Joneses. They want to live a flashy lifestyle, and they don't never have a foundation before they start to expend all the money that they have. So from that standpoint, when you're talking to them, you're saying, hey, let's allocate this amount of money to a savings or to a retirement plan or to an insurance plan or to a real estate plan. And they'll say, they may agree to it at that point in time, but 2 weeks later, it's forgotten because they want to go spend it on something else. It's a tough, because you're constantly have to remind them, but they come with so many different egos.
Right.
And you basically have to handhold, but you can't handhold an NBA athlete because he's on the road. It's just it's kind of like an intimate relationship. You can't really sit down with them on a day in, day out basis and remind them to be fiscally responsible, because the money comes in so fast. Every month, some of the checks you were getting, I don't want to, put your business down the street. Let's say a $20,000 a month check, or $100,000 a month check, or $500K a month type of checks coming in. What are you going to do? Some of them, do you have to pay taxes right away? The taxes don't even come out, do they?
Not right away. Yeah, they come out,
They come out? Yeah. So, so the taxes are coming out, but still, every dollar that they come in, now they're going to go spend it on something what they want to go have fun.
Right.
Most of these kids, 18, 19, between maybe 20 to 27, am I right? So most of these kids are 20, 27. At that point in time, what were you doing at 20, 27?
Yeah.
What was I doing at 2027?
I was barely making $200 a month.
So you were barely making it. Like I said, I had a real estate portfolio when I was 27, but what was I doing? I was tricking all the money off.
Right.
And I didn't. My OGs and my mentors weren't even giving me the right game to say, "Hold, young buck, let's save some of this money."
Right.
And so that's what the thing is about these athletes. As you see them, they get on camera and they got some of the flyest outfits on. Those outfits are running $5 to $10K, $20K, $50K, just for an outfit, just to walk to the locker room.
In 82 games.
In 82 games. And they got a new fit on 82 games. And so you thinking about that, and these guys are really just blowing money on a day in, day out basis.
Right.
But then you got some guys in the NBA that are fiscally responsible because of the background that they came from, maybe a golden spoon or a silver spoon. And so they are a little bit more fiscally responsible. They're not going out and buying 5 and 6 cars. They may just go get a Tahoe and run with it.
Right. But the reason I brought that up, because there may be someone who's watching this. They're like, well, I'm not making millions. I'm not making hundreds of thousands.
True.
And I'm often saying, well, even if you're making $50,000 a year, you still got to budget that. And so even from this whole notion of being financially literate, I think that, first of all, I think the word has been abused a little bit.
100%.
Even when we think about wealth, people have confused wealth with making money. But I tell people the only way you can build wealth is you have to have investments of assets. Yes. And when you look up the definition of the word investment, it means, to invest in actual wealth to invest in tangible things that can amass wealth. And so I personally think that to have true financial literacy, you have to understand how to invest. Mm-hmm. You have to. And so I think that that's the missing component. Yeah. Whether you're making $50,000 a year or you're making $5 million a year, 100%. That's the part we got to really start teaching people.
And that's how you expand on your wealth, by building that foundation and then building off of that. Investments are key. So shout out to your mom, because she cultures you a little bit by putting you in those different avenues to see different things in life. She put you into real estate. What other products? What other things she did that she exposed you to?
Well, the things I went to was later on, but okay. I was just doing conferences that she went to,
right?
For her job and stuff like that. Yeah. Leadership conference. She had to be public speaking when I didn't want to public speak. So just those things kind of just helped shaped it.
So that allowed you to have a little bit more of a wider view when it came to what you're doing with your money. Yeah. Because like you said, you were an inner city kid. I was a little bit of an inner city kid too, but at the same time, my dad passed away and didn't have adequate life insurance. What's that mean for me? Well, that would put me at a different stepping stone if I'd have had a life insurance policy. Right. If he'd have had a life insurance policy and passed it on to my family, all I got was a Social Security check. And I'm going to be honest with you, I had all the Jordans after I got those Social Security checks.
So back to your point, though, you had no one to teach you.
Exactly.
We have somebody to teach you. I think that's the biggest thing. No one's there to teach us.
Yes.
Or no one's before us has had it, lost it maybe, and then tell us, hey, you don't need to do that, do this.
Yeah. So full circle, go ahead.
Well, to that point, before you get into that. So I know they have like a rookie symposium at the beginning of the year. Right. And I heard it's really not anything. Yeah. And so and I've heard this before, and you can clear this up, or it could just be hearsay. They say that they actually want it to where players don't become financially fiscal, because now it keeps them in a trap where you have to be codependent on this league paying you so you can come back, work harder, et cetera, et cetera. Is that true?
Yeah, it's just like, I feel like living here in Vegas, they don't really want us to be entrepreneurs. They want you to work in casinos. If you don't work, and there ain't no casinos.
Right.
So it's a never-ending system. Right. So why would they give you the education when they want you and they need you to fix their product? So
they want you dealing cards out here.
It's a bigger issue, I feel like.
1,000%.
And it's probably never going to change until a lot of people speak up and kind of just buck the system.
Or start their own league.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The whole regime has to honestly leave out. Even from the politics of this country and everything else like that. But that's a whole deeper rabbit hole that
we may have to shoot that episode outside the country.
Exactly. They gonna off us. Don't put this on YouTube. Trying to live to 80.
Exactly. Oh, they too militant over there. They too militant over there on that podcast.
I don't know nothing, Your Honor.
So going back to the full circle,
right?
So, and we can touch on his investments. So you're at the end of your career. Did you know it, or was there signs just of the teams not calling up? How did that transaction?
A little bit of both. I felt my body getting older. Waking up in pain kind of wasn't a thing for me. Then I went overseas like the last 3 or 4 months. Felt like I still had something in the tank and still wanted to play. So I tried it out. Got hurt over there. I was like, I'm coming back home. They didn't want to pay me, so I said I'll buy my own ticket. Came back home and just started, kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. I know I wanted to have passive income. I wanted to, have some investments. Already made some investments prior to that, but just wanted to continue building, so I wasn't getting the NBA checks anymore. So how can I kind of make some passive income and not kind of touch my savings and stuff like that? So
was it a big shock when you stopped getting those NBA checks?
So when I stopped playing, I stopped getting the checks, but I still had my contract was still for another year, so they stretched it out for another 3 years.
You had that little all day.
Yeah. So they stretched it out, which is cool.
Ain't no wrong with it.
Honestly, at the time, I was mad.
Yeah,
they stretched it out. I was like, why they doing this? Called my agent, bitch to him. I was like, man, they need to change this, but it actually, kind of worked out in my favor because they stretched it out for another 3 years, which was good. So
that's dope.
It was a good contract, I guess.
No, that's definitely dope, because a lot of people and a lot of athletes, when they leave these professional sports, I say professional too, these guys are coming from overseas and stopping their professional professional careers, because a lot of guys do go overseas and make great money. They're making a couple $1 million a year, and that's tax-free. You get cars, you get homes, you get stipends and everything else like that. But when it's over, a lot of guys just don't know what to do. And that's what I try to help when I talk to athletes during their careers, is try to say, what's the vision for after you when you get done? Most guys can't even see it. Because even after they get done speaking with me, it goes in one ear and out the other because they're going right back to the court or going right back to playing everything else like that. But, it's I've reached out to a few people to try to help guys build that foundation. And you had a foundation because you had a transition period, honestly. And during that transition period, you started to say, hey, different investments. What are some of the things that made you want to go into investing? And who was maybe a mentor or a financial advisor that came into your life to help you with some of those transitions?
So I met a guy named Rashawn Williams, like 2019 or 2020.
Shout out to Rashawn.
He's super big on creating generational wealth for players. He only deals with players and athletes and entertainers. So it was a cool little connection. So I met him. He always talked about generational wealth, investments, passive income. So bought a company with him, like a HVAC company with him.
Okay.
So we bought that, make passive income from that. Then we did a whole bunch of other investments like Turo, Therabody, Instacart, Noble. So it's a whole bunch, like 20 or 25 investments. So just try to expand it out over like either we actually did Zenwater too, which I think is going to be one of the biggest ones. So we do it like over water, food and beverage, mostly some tech companies, but most things that grow really, really fast. So
definitely,
I love his thesis. I love what he's doing. I love that he's helping his community. So.
And is there like typically, because a lot of times when people hear investment, they think it has to be millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And I know you and I had talked a few months back offline just about some of the investments you made were probably as little as $20,000, $50,000. Is that correct?
Yeah. So my first one with Rashawn was $10,000. When I met him, my story that I was going to tell with Curtis about my financial advisor at the time in 2008. He been telling me for years to get a brokerage account.
Right.
I kept going in one year throughout the other. I'm back in the gym. I'm not listening to him. And at the time, he wanted me to give him $100,000. I'm like, dude, I'm not giving you $100,000. You might leave and go to freaking China tomorrow. I don't know where you're gonna be at, but I gave it to him, and like I said, it worked out in the end. But just kind of my first investment with Rashawn was $10,000. It was a small, and he said, just start small first, and then you can add up and build up if you feel comfortable, if you want to, if you believe it. And not only that, he gave me homework to do. He gave me some books to read. He wasn't just telling me, just give me your money, I'll do this with it. But he kind of educated me. I think that's the biggest thing and why I kind of liked him so much, because he educated me. He didn't just take my money and say, just do this, do that. He kind of gave me the reasons why, his bad investments that he did, stuff like that. And like I said, just gave me more education. I just did the homework and I kept looking, and I kind of went with it.
Right. So what are some of the kind of, data points you look for when making an investment that could be beneficial to someone who's watching this?
I feel like you want to get companies that are, so for us, I think late stage investing is better because it's less risk.
Okay.
And when you invest in startups, it's kind of way more risky. It takes more time. Late stage, you can get your money back in 2 to 3 years, hopefully. Like Instacart, I invested in 2020 and just now getting it back. So it's a real shorter span. So I think for a person like me, it's better because I made bulk of my money in a short period of time. And now that I don't want to give away all my money, and then if it fails, then I'm screwed. I'm effed. So I definitely think late stage investing is better for a person like me. But I invested in some startups and stuff like that. But I think just finding the right companies, doing the homework, investing in what you believe in.
Right.
I think for me, investing in things that I think that will change the world, that's going to help the world and kind of better make the world a better place. So I think all the investments I've invested in, like water, like people drink water, like you can't live without water. Right. So in important time,
it's not sparkling water though.
Definitely not sparkling water. We ain't doing no limes, none of that. Zen water is the best water, best way to go.
He just said water is water. Now all of a sudden Zen water the best. I can't do sparkling. Okay.
No, I think that's powerful because I think a lot of people, when they hear investing, they think it has to be a lot of money.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, Curtis and I often work with individuals about is that, and one of the concepts we teach is that, okay, you may not have 10,000, but let's get a line of credit, use that line of credit to make that investment, and then talk about how the debt servicing of that work. Yeah. So that 10 grand may cost you, let's say, $200 a month to pay the monthly payment, which you're probably wasting that on cable, cigarettes, weed, or whatever you may be wasting it on. But at least it's going into something that is going to be tangible in the next few years, not only getting a return, but possibly that could buy you some ownership into the company.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me, learning how to use credit.
Definitely.
The first point, I was just big on cash and not having credit cards, and now having I don't have a lot of credit cards, but 2 or 3, but have high limits, but still using those limits to be able to pay off things or make investments, and then just paying the monthly off. So over time, if I get that money back, now I'm just paying the monthly and then paying it all off when I get the money back.
Right.
So I think just ways that the white people have used it for their benefit, and we never knew anything about. Now we know it. Now you got to use it just like they do, and just use it for your benefit. So I think it's just, like I said, it's just all caters back to education, not knowing the benefits of credit and debt servicing and all that kind of stuff.
So the OPM of it all is you learn that once you learn that other people's money, do you still want to expound on your portfolio and move different ways and with that other people's money mentality? Because you can go to the bank and leverage what you have and your investments and go. What type of things would you want to in your future invest in or continue to invest in with Rashawn and everything else that? I
think the next thing I want to do is like multifamily units or multifamily real estate. I think that's big for me, just to maybe get one for each one of my kids, so I can say, hey, each one of y'all got your own little multifamily unit. Whatever you want to do with it, that's on you. So.
That's key, because when we and Will started talking about it, he was like, what do you want to, what's the goal for yourself? I was like, honestly, I want to get my daughter a portfolio of properties where when the time she gets to be 18, 20, she's bringing in about basically $100K a year in assets. And then if you have $100K a year in assets, I mean, you probably have $1 million portfolio of property. So that's what things that I wanted to do for my daughter going forward. And so he and I talk about that almost on a regular basis to try to figure out ways to reinvent or ways to get to that goal for myself and for my daughter. And so that's key, because that's something that you're just saying to me, because it resonates. I want to do something for my daughter going forward, because that's, the next generation. That's my legacy and things of that nature. So, Will teaches on that. He highlights and teaches people mindset on a day in, day out basis. We're battling with people because, like I said, that in one ear and out the other analogy, once people leave from you, they hearing from 5, 10, 15, 20 other people talking about, hey, and they're on Instagram, social media talking about, I got to play. Me and my guy Dane was listening to some guy today, looked like a Will reject. but this man, I can't even go how far into that post he did, but it was terrible. It was mad niggerish, and it was really bad. And people will follow him. He had a following.
Yeah, it's hard to like believe anything on the internet these days, because everybody can sell anything.
Yes,
like me, you can sell the same thing, say it 3 different ways, and somebody out there can buy it.
Yes, for real.
But whoever's the flashiest, talks the loudest, that's who they're going to be drawn to.
Yeah, he had some big Gucci shades on and a Gucci sweater, and he talked like he was on the block two days ago. But it was. But that's the reason why I like dealing with CJ, because you have a good essence. You have an organic attitude. And on a day in, day out basis, it's easy to you to talk about business and things of that nature. A lot of athletes still to this day, they come to us, but then they'll be gone.
Yeah.
And, you've always I've always been able to get in touch with you. You've always ran ideas between me and Will, and that's been key in our relationship. But at the same time, we allow you to move at your pace, but you're steady getting your knowledge and steady growing as an entrepreneur and as a businessman. Tell them a little bit about some of the things that you've journeyed on and done in your life as an entrepreneur now as you started your nonprofits and things of that nature.
So a big thing for me is like the nonprofit giving back. Like I said before, just growing up here, not having the resources or the reach to do things. And like I said, my family was beneficial for me to go to Gorman, to get a scholarship there, to go to these schools and stuff like that. So I wanted to give back in that same sense. And then also just being an entrepreneur, working for yourself. I think that's the biggest thing. Not having to clock in 9 to 5 every day. Me and my wife have a vending machine business, so I think that's kind of cool for me to do, to get a sense of business, to have a business license. Like knowing all these things before that, I didn't really know it. I wish I would have started when I was playing, because they would have been maybe a little bigger by now.
That's the key. People need to start doing it while they're playing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because like all these things, I think getting tax write-offs too. When you have an LLC and all that kind of stuff, you can write a whole bunch of stuff off for your business. So,
like game, man.
People didn't. I didn't know that when I was playing. If I were to know that now, the stuff I would definitely tell any young athlete now. Right. So,
one of the things I appreciate about you, CJ, is like no matter like what levels financially you've hit, you're still not scared to ask questions. Like there's been times you'll text me and be like, "Hey, what about this?" or "How does this work?" and different things of that nature. How does one just continue to stay level-headed, even though you've had the type of success you had? Because I think that's the other thing that hurt primarily athletes, and because the money doesn't come fast enough for them on the business side. So how do you stay pretty level-headed and still eager to learn?
I think it's just being humble. I mean, I always wanted to learn. I feel like if you're not learning, you're dying. So I think I don't want to, like I said, I'm trying to live to 80. So I don't want to die yet. I want
just 80?
Yeah. I mean, if I get to 80, I know I can get to 90. I hope God bless me to see that. So
right.
I just feel like, if you're continue learning, even if somebody I know, maybe I'll ask somebody a question I already know the answer. Right. I just want to ask anyway. So just to see maybe their mind frame might be different from mine, and I could take something from them and put it into my mindset. So I just think always learning, always trying to grow and, kind of be better. I think if you're not growing, like I said, you're dying.
Man, that's such a bar. And here's why. We'll get people who come to us need our help, but then they try to tell us how to do our job to help them.
Man, they be having pipe dreams, brother.
Straight pipe dreams.
I mean,
man.
you gotta lay the foundation. And a lot of times they'll come to you with 5 to 7 different ideas, and we just had to bring them back to reality. Kind of like bust the bubble. Like, okay, where you at right now?
Yeah.
Because you're thinking it's good to have a plan for 5 years down the line, but at the same time, you have to take care of today. Yeah. And take care of tomorrow, and then take it one day at a time in order to get to achieve those goals. So, that all started off with you on the basketball side. You started your career, and you took it day by day, and you had to go through those ups and downs and those challenges to get through, to get to where you were at. But, that hard work and those transitions allow you to transition into your entrepreneurial endeavors and everything else like that, to continue to learn, to continue to keep investing in things of that nature, man. We definitely want to commend you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
But this dude will not get on the basketball court at all.
No more.
like when somebody retired,
years ago.
like when somebody retired, this man retired. Yeah. He'll walk in the gym though from time to time. He don't even walk on the basketball court no more. From time to time, he'd be like, "There, see you go late." Nah,
but I can only imagine the amount of miles you've put on your body. Yeah. Like I know LeBron, like, man, when this shit gonna be over?
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like I said,
21 years.
That's why you had to rush Bronny to get to the NBA. Come on, kid.
Waking up in pain, man, don't feel good. Like I said, that's the only reason why I quit, because like I said, the pain is a different monster. And now you have different things that you can cryotherapy, hyperbaric chamber, stuff like that to keep players healthy and play longer. But when I was playing, we had was a foam roller and some massage. It's a lot different now, so they're gonna play longer.
Dang, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. And I can only imagine the conditioning you had to be in. And
it's a year-round thing. Like I said, I mean, I barely now still want to work out. Like I have a gym in my house, but I go in there every
it gets tired. It definitely gets tired once you have done.
But how do you at least stay in a decent walk-around conditioning? Because and here's why I asked. I'm seeing some of these players, man.
Don't even mention it.
Raymond Felton.
Oh my goodness.
Ray Feezy.
Yeah. How do you get that out of shape?
Like I said, because you've been doing it all your life, and that's all you knew. So I mean, I feel like once you do it so much for 20 plus years, you don't want to wake up and go to the gym no more. Mm-hmm. Do core. You did that 6 days out of the week for 20 years.
But the diet gotta be right too. They get me on a comfort food though, bro. Like
he probably eating whatever he want to eat because then not do anything. But as you get older, you can't do that.
But to get that big, you got to be eating till you're sick. Like, oh damn,
and not doing anything. He probably just sitting like me and you. We probably sitting for hours.
And also, that alcohol, them beers and them drinks, they start to flowing. You get to kicking your feet up, watching the game or hanging with your guys. That stuff, it starts to eat away at your body too. Man, look, I just want all my people to be healthy.
Don't get off as fast.
At all. That metabolism is a mofo.
I'll just speak for me.
Okay.
I couldn't be someone who I was in tip-top shape. And then I see a throwback video of myself. And then I look at myself, I'm like, how the hell did this happen? Like I could mentally,
Maybe you got to get him on here and give him some inspiration.
We got to get
the call for us.
We got to get the nutritionists together. We got to get the physical trainers. We might have start a business for the retired athletes.
There you go.
Weight and motivation.
OG retirement fitness.
For real, but no, definitely. So, what do you have coming up? What you working on? Like you say, your daughter's playing, sports at a high level. So what are some of the other things you're working on?
I'm working on a documentary with my daughter actually right now, following around some elite girls in volleyball.
That's never been done.
Yeah, never been done. So I had a vision like a couple years back when she started playing. I didn't think she would be this good, honestly, but she just kept getting better and better. And then I said, we got to kind of turn this into a documentary so people can see the day in the life of elite volleyball player. And I got like 4 girls, so we're gonna shoot the pilot this summer, and then hopefully turn into something big, and hopefully one of these networks will pick it up and kind of
That's a good NIL
from there.
That's a good NIL transition for you because you're going to be able to put money in their pockets in the beginning.
So I think it's cool from then they got to start learning about the business aspect of sports now. And not just just play. They got to feel like they know what they're doing, what they're talking about, and when they go in these meetings or hear people talking about contracts, they can already know what they're talking about instead of just signing their lives away. So.
Definitely.
Speaking on that, let me ask you about this. A lot of people think that athletes, everybody is equal across the board about the marketing, branding, and everything else like that comes with being an NBA athlete. So what was your summer? Did you get a lot of marketing and branding deals? Or
no, I fired my agents because I didn't get no marketing.
Now, do you think that's a knock against the agent, or just where your status in the business?
I was on the best team. D-Rose can't get all the deals. So someone got to come my way.
Right.
But when I fired him, I actually honestly got way more.
Okay.
Our team was our team. So that company that I went with, they were like specialized in marketing. So people don't know, a lot of agents don't specialize in marketing. They'll just specialize in doing the contracts, and you get money on the side. They like that's on you. So I got way more money. And like I said, when you play with a good team like the Bulls, we had the best record in the league. Had projected to win the chip and at least get there, but like I said, D-Rose can't take all the deals, so some got to come my way, and they did. So
that's dope.
It's about part of marketing and building your brand.
So your brand was very important to you. You saw that as an opportunity to make more income. So you just had to figure out the best team to put together.
His A-team. Like we talk about in real estate, you got to have your A-team players who are specialized in what you want your end result goal to look like.
And everybody don't have the vision that you see for yourself. So like I said, if somebody don't see you, doing any commercials and you want to do that, then you got to fire them and get somebody who can do it. So I think that's what Rashawn is big about too. Like if the financial advisor isn't doing what he's supposed to be doing, he needs to be fired. If he's not giving you 15, 20%, then he needs to be fired. So that's the kind of numbers that we're shooting for. So.
Definitely. So now, CJ, you know what's going to happen when people see this interview, right? It's going to be somebody who is like, I got a business idea. I'm pretty sure CJ got another $10,000.
It got to be good, man. It got to be some ain't never been done before, or it's profitable already. So.
100%.
So you got to vet that. You got to vet that business opportunity that comes to you, right?
Yeah, for sure. You got to vet everything. I mean, like I said, I've made some bad deals too, and like I said, just learning from people like Rashawn or other people, you got to really do the due diligence first and not just hand people some money. Because I've done that before too. So, and I thought I was going to see it back. And
was it a napkin business proposal?
It was kind of that. Yeah, I did one of them hood deals before, man. And I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, I got
trying
this
to help
play.
Somebody out, man. And I thought it was a good idea, and it never came back.
He never came back.
He never came back. It never came back.
Wow.
Money was gone. So, you take those L's and you learn from them, but never again.
No, that's tough. All right. Well, man, definitely where can people find more information about your nonprofit and also catch you if they want to figure out where you at on social media and things of that nature?
Social media, Instagram and Twitter or X. I'm on QuietStorm_32. Quiet Storm Foundation is a nonprofit. You can go to quietstormfoundation.org to look it up, and also write books too. So CJPens.com.
Hey, see, he didn't even tell us about the CJ Pens.
Man, I'll be doing so much. I forgot.
This is a mogul right here, man.
And definitely any way we can give back and add value to you. I mean, we're all out here in Las Vegas, and just knowing like what your mission is that is bigger than you. That's another thing that I definitely appreciate about you, man. So any way we can add value to whatever it is you're doing with your foundation.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So Curtis, how can they find you, man?
You can find me on all social media platforms. Mr. C. Blair. C. Blair and Associates is a company where we're doing life insurance, financial planning, investments, and things of that nature. And also we're working with people on building their credit and doing business funding as well.
Definitely. And you can catch me at Mr. Will Roundtree across all social media platforms. Make sure you like, comment, share, follow, subscribe, all that cool stuff. But more importantly,
get some sparkling water.
Zen water, baby.
What CJ said, I don't know about this sparkling water stuff. So make sure y'all continue to stay locked in. Be sure to have your notifications on across all social media platforms to see what city I'll be tapping into. And more importantly, I'll see y'all at the top. Let's go.